Hey, what's going on, everybody? I had a great talk with one of the subscribers about how to get started on Upwork, and so I want to go over some of the things that we discussed in that call. Now, this is my Upwork profile. I haven't actually done an Upwork job in quite a while now. It's maybe been, 4 or 5 months. But you can see I have a pretty good looking profile, especially because of this 100% job success score. I used to have a top rated badge that you get after 90 days of consistent work, and I think, I forget what the criteria are. I think you have to earn a certain amount of money and keep your job success score above 90%. It's not too bad if you just continue on focusing on delivering. Anyways, I spent a lot of time on this copy. You can go ahead and copy it. I don't really care. I don't think it matters that much. The main thing people are looking at is, what is your rate? And this used to be as low as $40 to $60 an hour. And I would make even less than that because I did a lot of project-based pricing while I was on Upwork. And total jobs, and then the portfolio at the bottom. So this is all just kind of buzzwords and stuff. You can see I can talk about having only 5-star reviews, and I can talk about my Twitter, as well as some recommendations that I have, and also my YouTube channel. So that helps a lot. Down here, we have my testimonials. So every time you finish a project, it's important to get a testimonial, and I love connecting it to actual projects that you build as well. So this one also was very good. And then you have your portfolio here. Now, I was getting these really good clients with just a portfolio that was really small little things, like stuff that, one pagers, little snippets of code that I would grab from other places, or different things like that. This was like one of the very first clients that I got, the Slope and Happy Land Gummy Bears. And then this is just from a course that I took on Udemy. So to get started, this is like a template that I customized for a client. This was my first time using FinSuite. And so I just, eventually started grabbing and putting stuff up. Now, Slope, like two of my biggest clients here, Slope as well as Alexander Academy, both got acquired. So now I can't use them in my portfolio, really. If you go to their actual website, you'll see. And then I have this kind of like commoditized service down here, but I never found this to be very good. So I just turned it off. And then Nick is my friend, a really good friend. He's actually my roommate. And, I helped him with his web design at first and got a testimonial from him on here that's an external one. So that's really all my portfolio is. Now, what I want to show you are first my rules of Upwork, and then I'll show you an interaction that I have with a real client that went really well for me, and then I will show you how I search for work to upgrade my Webflow skills on Upwork. So here are my rules for Upwork. Number one is that Upwork is for skills and portfolio development. It's hard to make money here. So come to Upwork with the mindset that you're not here to make money, you're here to develop your portfolio in a way that's quick and in a way that holds you accountable, because these are real people who have real problems. So rather than going through online tutorials or, trying to copy a clonable or something, you're creating real work from scratch. And I think Upwork is awesome for that. And it's pretty, the first 6 months were pretty rough. I struggled a lot and doing basic things like learning. I was still learning Flexbox. I was still learning a lot of basics. But I was upfront about it with the client. I would say, hey, I am just starting. And to me, Upwork is all about lowering the risk to the client, because in general, clients on Upwork, they're looking for a deal. There are really great clients that I found on Upwork that I've worked with and continue to work with to this day. Startups have been there. People kind of tend to go there if they don't know where else to go. So clients on Upwork tend to get a bad rap, and there is quite a bit that you have to sift through, but I'll show you how to find the good clients. I tend to focus on small projects that have a clear path to the finish line. By path to the finish line, I mean like there's a Figma file that's already done, design is already done. Don't take projects that say, design is almost complete or anything like that, or just make sure that the finish line is there. And you'll have to refine this as you go and you learn. But the biggest killer to your productivity is going to be waiting for client feedback and waiting for clients to give you answers on things that may not be possible in Webflow and that sort of thing. So I find a completed Figma or Adobe XD file to be the most helpful for that. Now, next, win proposals by sending a staging domain site. I may be lucky because I'm based in the US, but I did really well at winning proposals. A lot, even on jobs posted with like 20 to 50 proposals, I could win those pretty easily by creating, spending an hour or two, making a mock-up on a staging domain site, and then sending the client that example to show them my skills and show them that I already had something that matched what they wanted. So that's another reason that I really love Webflow, is because I think I'm on an agency plan. You could get a freelancer plan or whatever. I think with the free plan, you get 3 free staging domains. So being able to have multiple of those that you can send to clients is going to give you a huge leg up in winning proposals. And then lastly, be upfront about your abilities. I talked about this already, but for me to say, okay, I'll do one page for $750 and it'll take 3 to 4 weeks. And just so you know, I'm just getting started. Here's my portfolio, but I'm still learning. And most clients I found to be pretty okay with that because they're hunting for a deal. So if you can send them a staging domain that shows that you're serious and you actually have skills, while at the same time, giving them a price up front so that they don't have to worry that they're going to be paying you for 700 hours because you can't figure out Flexbox. But that's where, you biting the bullet and you really sucking it up can come into play. I noticed a lot of gurus on YouTube talking about like, don't sell for less than your worth or less than the market rate. I don't know. I started from zero and I had zero skills. So for me, I had to start from really low wages. And my brother would make a joke. He said, most Silicon Valley companies outsource to Romania, but Romania outsources to Keegan Leary. Anyways, that's all it is for my rules here on Upwork. Let's go ahead and look at a project that I did. This one with Anthony was, I thought, really good for me because it's a little bit more advanced in that he was looking for something I could do with FinSuite. And I'm just going to scroll all the way to the top. So here's the details of the post. So looking for a designer that has significant experience using Webflow to create a single page that includes several filters to show a variety of data. The ability to gate the landing page by requiring candidates to enter their email address and ability to edit the underlying data. So this is actually kind of JavaScript-y and FinSuite attributes. But the thing I love about this post is that it includes a wireframe. So I know what the finish line is. The finish line looks like this. These are drop downs, and then these populate with data. So very doable with FinSuite attributes. And then the other thing is gating via email is another, I think there's a FinSuite hack for it, but you could have ChatGPT write that for you. And this was before ChatGPT had really taken off. You can see it's back in February. Anyways, my response is simple. I can do all this. I'm very comfortable with the custom code, need to provide the gating functionality you want. And hey, Keegan, if I was just getting started, I would probably write a bit of a longer proposal here, but I was pretty confident at this point and my portfolio looked good. And so we scheduled a time to call and I said, okay, some clients, they really want to hop on a call, and that was fine. The other thing I guess I didn't show with the proposal here is the hourly range is $15 to $100, which is quite a range, and an intermediate experience level. Nobody says they're okay with a beginner experience level, so I don't even pay attention to this, to be honest, unless they're saying they're looking for an expert and they're only paying like $20 an hour. Then that's kind of a red flag in Upwork. So back to the messages here. We had our call, and then we come down here. I don't know, there was some difficulty getting on there. And so they presented me with a mock-up from Google Docs. So that was awesome, and their current website. And then I showcased, a complex filtering setup that I had done before. And you could build this yourself. You could just go and find a FinSuite complex filtering system that would match what they wanted. And then after our call, I said, thanks for chatting today and considering me for your project. I took some time to prototype the application to give you an idea of what I can develop in a short period of time. This was less than 24 hours, I think. I'll send a preview link as well so you can inspect the CMS. If you want to move forward, we can explore a couple of Figma prototypes to nail down a design that is a bit more eye-catching. Please let me know if you have any questions. I also remember you mentioned gating the page by asking a user for email address. I can prototype this out for you as well, should you desire. Now, I haven't visited this. I don't know if it's still live, but let's go ahead and see. It still is live. And you can get in with test at test.com, whatever. But this was the simple, the prototype that I showed him how I could build. And there's a lot more functionality that I built in once I had access to their account. But that is how I won this proposal. And I think I ended up charging project-based here because I knew that it would be a pretty simple build for me with attributes. $90 per hour at 15 hours, so $13.50. And this is probably a day of work for me, so 8 hours, but also there's a lot of back and forth that happened with design revisions and that sort of thing, and things that don't take a lot of time, but they do, require you to context switch. And you can see here an example of where we ended up getting to with this design. So this was I just think a really great highlight of how you want your Webflow development projects to go. This was small. I was able to complete it in a day or two. The client was searching for somebody who had some expertise, but was okay with somebody who was getting started, because the JavaScript, I can put in test at test.com, and they were okay with that. And I made sure it's not perfect, and then there was a little bit of training that happened after as well. And they were hoping to get me to work with them in Squarespace later, but I said, nope, or thanks, but no thanks. So that's an example of how this would go. And you can see I don't know. I'm not going to go to any. Where's one that Logan was a great client. And that was mostly like template change. Like I was teaching him kind of one-on-one with stuff. Anyways, I think that's enough of a review for now there. Now, the last thing I want to go over is how I look for jobs. And my favorite is searching for Figma in Webflow. And let's go over some bad ones first. So this payment unverified has spent $0. I tend to not bother with these. They can be okay, but what you're really looking for is something like this. So let's click into this one. The hourly rate is below my hourly wage, right? So this person is looking for a deal, and that's fine. I can, try to sell a project-based price on this one if I wanted to, if I thought that would be a better deal both for the client and for me. But this person is saying, I run a PR agency, here's my current website. So we have a current website. That's immediately a green flag. We like that. And then we also have a Figma design to work off of. So the finish line is clear. Looking for someone who can build this site in Webflow, possibly in WordPress. Should be modular so we can change things quickly and colors easily adjusted. So Webflow is perfectly capable of all this stuff. Let's see. I'm trying to look for... So there's 20 to 50 proposals. That's fine. Interviewing 2. So the majority of those proposals are not good, you can tell. I'm trying to see payment unverified. It's okay. I'm honestly fine with it. Let's click over to the Figma and see what we can get. Okay, so here's the Figma. We have a ticker, a marquee. We have like a changing thing. This is pretty cool. Like the fact that the Figma file is this complete is really good. If you're looking at this and you feel pretty confident I can build this in Webflow, then this is exactly the kind of project that you want to get, because it's like there's some tricks here, but it is pretty simple. We have a blur effect, we have some nice text, but everything's relatively grid-based. You're not going to be playing with too much position absolute, except for maybe some of these animations. Grids everywhere. So this is a perfect, this is one that I would love to bid for. And to do that, I would probably build out maybe the hero. The hero usually takes the longest in my experience. But if you can just, take the stuff that they already have and say, here is staging.io, and you could probably build this in, at least half of this in 4 to 8 hours or 2 days, and then send it. Then the client, you've reduced risk for that client already. And here's a slider. You got to be careful with sliders. What the Webflow default slider can deliver. But whatever I was saying is that, if you can take the Figma file and show your skills already, then it's going to go so far in winning. Most people are probably just going to send a proposal that says, here's what I can do, here's my rate. But if you just send it like, hey, I've already done it, here you go, I'll charge you this much, then they can say, wow, this is really good, and I would do it. So that's kind of my overview of how I approach Upwork. And this to me is this is a job that I would love to get. I see, we didn't even check out the current website, made you feel. Definitely the new design is a bit better. You don't have to do anything. You can see if it's already in Webflow. It looks like it is not, because Webflow puts in certain data attributes in the body tag there. Or is it? I think it's in the HTML tag. Anyways, yeah, so I just wanted to showcase that to you. And if you are on Upwork looking for work, then go find this job. I am not making a proposal for it, but this is something you can build and probably push through with the client. You can probably build it in a day or 2, but with feedback and all that, it'll probably take 3 to 4 weeks, I would think. But now you have something awesome that's completely unique on your portfolio that looks good. And you didn't spend a lot of time sending a bunch of proposals to all these different people. You focused in on one, and you over-delivered from the get-go for that one. So actually, let's go over pricing. If I were to price this. Approach, services, cases, clients, contacts. So there's a number of things here. So this is actually quite more than the landing page. There's a bit more, because I don't know what all these go to. Oh, it's just the same thing. Services, it just goes to different pages. So maybe not. Cases may go to its own. That's like a CMS integration right there. And for that, I would check out the current website. So services work. Let's go to work. So this has to be a CMS. And cool, grid, whatever. We can do that very easily in Webflow. Click on that. I'd be curious to see designs for what the template page looks like, but it's just a bunch of images. So yeah, I would say this is anywhere like on the low end, this is a $700 website. If you are just getting started and you're not sure if you can deliver. On the high, probably now I could charge around 4,000 to 5,000 for this. But if you want to be competitive, I'd probably charge 2,000 to 3,000, somewhere in there. But they're okay with hourly too. So just go hourly and start working, and then say, if you have that staging domain, just say like, look, this work's already done. You can have it for free if you want it. But that is how you would win this proposal. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling right now. I think I touched on everything I wanted to touch on: how to find good projects, how to sift through them, my rules of Upwork. Again, I'll leave you with those. So anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. If you have any questions about Upwork, feel free to shoot them my way. Love to help you guys with your builds. All right, later.